Chapter 23, Two Blushing Penguins. For the rest of the debating workshop, I concentrated on taking as many notes as possible and keeping my attention firmly fixed to the front. If ever I wavered and let my eyes drift anywhere near a certain red t-shirt, Orazio Zorzotto would either clasp both hands over his heart and look to the heavens with fluttering eyelids, or seize his chest and gasp in silent pain as if an arrow had just struck him. That night, as I lay in my bed, I thought about what Raza had said. It was stupid, of course. I wasn't in love. I mean, how could I be? I knew nothing about Kelly Faulkner except her name, and I wouldn't have even known that if it hadn't been for the name tags they gave us. I pinned mine under my jumper in case someone's had a bad reaction to it, like Barry Bagsley's. No, I definitely wasn't in love, that was for sure. All that Romeo and Juliet stuff, making dopey faces through fish tanks or saying weird things like my lips, two blushing penguins are, or whatever it was, just didn't happen in real life. Though I suppose Raza had a point in a way. I admit I was looking at Kelly Faulkner quite a lot, but I definitely wasn't perving. Kelly Faulkner wasn't even the perving type. She was different. Not freaky or weird like Raza said, just different. She wasn't one of those girls who seem to spend all their time just being beautiful and then don't have any time or energy left to be anything else. No, I wasn't a pervert and she wasn't a pervy, and I wasn't in love. So what was it about her? Why couldn't I keep my eyes off her? I thought about the first time I saw her, really saw her. It was during that first session. She was part of a debate that the presenter put together as a demonstration for us. When she stood up to speak, the thing I noticed straight away about her was her eyes. How weird was that? I never paid attention to people's eyes. Most people I talked to could have grapes hanging from their eye sockets, and it wouldn't strike me as strange. And as for colour, who notices stuff like that? Not me. But with Kelly Faulkner's eyes, it was different. I couldn't help but notice. They were so pale blue that it looked like they were made of ice, but not cold like ice, just clear and shiny. And when she smiled, her cheeks pushed up and made her eyes disappear into narrow slits that seemed to sparkle with light, or something like that. As I said, I don't really take in much about people's eyes. But noticing things about someone's eyes isn't love, is it? It's more like interest or curiosity. Like how I found it interesting that Kelly Faulkner had tied her hair back into two small pink towels, and that she wore a red clip in the shape of a butterfly, and that she had a few light freckles around her nose. And how I was curious about the way she tucked some loose strands of hair behind her ear, and the way the back of her neck was slightly pink from the sun. And I suppose I was even more interested and curious whenever she smiled, and I had to stop myself from smiling right back at her because she looked so happy. And I guess it was the same when she spoke, and her voice made me think of bubbling water, or when she got her words mixed up and she giggled and bit her top lip and made a goofy face, and yet still somehow managed to look, well, perfect. You see, that was the strange thing about Kelly Faulkner. Everything about her was perfect. Even that daggy red t-shirt with the black outline of an Indian chief on the front. After a while, you couldn't imagine her wearing anything else. I guess that's what made her so interesting and why I couldn't stop watching her. She was just so perfect at being herself. That night, I had a stupid dream where Kelly Faulkner and I were friends, and we'd go over each other's houses and talk and joke around. And once she laughed so much, her eyes wrinkled up into slits, and she had to hold her stomach and rest her head on my shoulder till she recovered. Like I said, really stupid. But the thing was, it seemed so real that when I woke up on Sunday morning, just for a second or so, I thought it was real. But then I remembered, and it was gone. Just like when you turn off the TV and all the colours disappear and everything just goes grey and silent. For most of a Sunday, I wandered around looking for something to do. I tried watching TV in the lounge room, I tried listening to music in the rumpus room. I tried kicking a ball around the backyard. I tried reading on the veranda. I even tried doing some homework in my room. But everywhere I went seemed grey and stale. Just one more place where Kelly Faulkner wasn't. As a last resort, I even tried talking to Prue, but she said she was halfway through War and Peace and wanted to finish it before the next day. At last, I went into my room and flopped back onto my bed. Surely Razza couldn't be right after all, could he? It was impossible. It didn't make sense. What would he know about love? Wasn't he the one who was perving at all the girls yesterday and giving each of them a RBR? Then it dawned on me. Of course, the 4 steps of effective rebuttal. I would destroy Raz's stupid idea and give him back some of his own medicine. Let's see. 1. Razza says I'm in love with Kelly Faulkner. 2. This is totally false because suddenly I found myself thinking about the shape of Kelly Faulkner's blue jeans and the way her lips parted when she smiled and her cute white teeth. An awful pain ached in my chest. I lay there and waited for it to pass. There was nothing else I could do. I was on the receiving end of a mega download from the website of love.